Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge, September 25th, 2018. There's a full moon out there. It's still dark, but I guess there's a little peak of daybreak. I know the time said start at 5:30, but you can't set it at 15-minute increments, or I'll put 5:45. Doesn't allow that. I don't want to wait till 6, so okay, 2 minutes before 6. Well, what we have today, this morning, rich and rare Canadian blended whiskey with natural flavors. It's so rare you can get it at Walmart. Introduced in 1962. Versus the obscure, to say the least, you can't see it because of this label. Maybe you can see that Canadian. Let's go the correct way. Canadian Crest. That label's kind of dark. There's the maple leaf, and then there's the certification down there. It says approved by John James, you see? Also Canadian, blended Canadian whiskey with natural flavors. Special blend. It's a special blend, you see? You see? It's a private label blend also. You know, Trader Joe's and Aldi has their own private house brands that are contract brewed or vented or distilled by someone else. Same story here. This is for Albertsons, Jewel-Osco, Bonds, Safeway, Sureway. Grocery chains, if they sell liquor at their stores in Louisiana, they do. In other states like Florida, they do as well, but it has to be in an attached liquor store where you have to leave the front of this grocery store and go around and go back in the liquor store, like at Walmart in Florida. You know, that's the way they have it here. They have Albertsons liquor stores attached, but you can go through the store. Like there's an opening in the grocery store into the liquor store. But in our case, you know, like the Albertsons in Hammond, Louisiana, there is no separate liquor store. It's just a liquor section in the store. You just walk over there and buy it. Some people tell me they find it fascinating that they can buy liquor at Walmart. You know, it's like, what's the deal? Yes, the Walmart right here. When I go to Walmart, I'll go cruise the liquor store area, the liquor area. And it'd be interesting, you know, because sometimes they have odd things that you never see anywhere else, like Stedman's Select Bourbon. Yeah, I know, another house brand. Now this one has a, what do these have in common? They're both Canadian blended whiskey. They both have no age statement. They're both 80 proof. They're both distilled, blended, and aged somewhere in Canada by somebody for Sazerac. And in this case, it's a Sazerac brand. It says right here, rich and rare. Bottled by Sazerac Company of Frankfort, Kentucky. Frankfort, Kentucky is the Buffalo Trace Distillery. This one says, it says it on here somewhere. Canadian Crest. Oh yeah. Oh, here. Bottled by the Founders Company, Louisville, Kentucky. So this is that Louisville bottling plant. A lot of liquors you'll see it'll say the Founders Company. Even the Winn-Dixie store brand. So this is Albertsons, but if you go to Winn-Dixie, they have Winn-Dixie Canadian blended whiskey. Same thing. The Founders Company, Louisville, Kentucky. That's Sazerac, people. Maxwell says, greetings, Ron. Greetings to you over there in Russia, Maxwell. Okay. Well, we can see some things here. One is that this has a lot of sediment in it throughout. It looks so gritty. I mean, literally, there are floaties all throughout this Canadian blended whiskey. Now you say, oh, they're chill filtering it. It's clear as a bell. I don't know. Maybe they skipped the filtering step. I'm serious, because this is a dirty looking product. G16110. So what is that? the 110th day of 2016. I've had this bottle a good while, and it's where at the Distillery G in Canada. Now, if you can figure out where Distillery G is located, and below that is 0235E. I've read other things on the internet where people have tried tracking down the Sazerac distillery and they just can't break the code. You know what I mean? They can't figure it out. They've got different ideas, like we think it's here, we think it's there. They just don't know. Well, this one really doesn't have sediment. The little things I see are bubbles on the glass, little chips or imperfections, not cracks, but imperfections on the glass, the clear glass. So if we think these are the same things in two different labels, they're not. They don't even have the same color. This is darker, this is gold, and this is amber. Are they going to be similar? Well, yeah. Are they going to be the same? Well, no. So we'll put rich and rare here. I just saw somebody did a video. It's called Nerds Drink Whiskey. Their channel is interesting because they do their videos live from a bar somewhere. Maybe they own the bar, or they're cool with the owner or something, and they do a live show. It's interesting. It's a great format. Like they got people at the bar drinking and they're not playing music at the time. You know, you couldn't have that because for copyright reasons, and it would just be a nagging irritation. I see some people make music on their video reviews. I don't really mind that, but sometimes it's so loud you can barely hear the reviews. Like, okay, it's nice to have music, but it shouldn't overshadow the video anyway. So they were doing rich and rare at the bar, and they do it like once a week. And they were talking about it, and they were saying, well, yeah, it's a bottom shelf whiskey, it's cheap, but they admitted that they did drink it. One of the guys said, I do drink it, and he said, I've been drinking it for years, actually. It's inexpensive and it's fine. It's not like, oh, I'm so excited I'm drinking rich and rare. It's just wonderful. But, it's like a standby product, kind of like me drinking natural Keystone Ice. I did drink natural ice, but the price went up, so I jumped to Keystone. I don't sit there drinking Keystone Ice talking about, oh, it is just so incredibly great, And Lance DeLush on his videos, he hasn't been able to do them lately. He'll drink natural ice. Not because it's so fabulous, just because it's a standardized, consistent product. And in his case, like mine, it's a standby. Okay, you get the point. Some people don't get the point and they're angry. I'll show you. So then Canadian Crest could be a standby for some people because it's a store brand and they might go over to Albertsons and buy it. I mean, after all, it's only $5.99. That price might go up because of certain trade conflicts right now in the world. But, $5.99. You can get it similar price at Winn-Dixie. And it's got the label. They're trying to make it look like an old historic label. Oh, well, maybe that works. So since 1987, Albertsons been selling this stuff. And it probably does okay. It's like gets no marketing. They don't have a marketing budget. They don't have to spend money on that. The label probably never was changed in 31 years. So there is a place for these. But they were talking about rich and rare on Nerds Drink Whiskey. And then another good thing, they let people in the audience come try it. Like come up on the stage and they'll sit there. They have like a little table and like a booth or something set up, a bench, something, a couch, and they drinking it and they were talking about it. Yeah, it's okay, and giving comments about it. So I thought to myself, yeah, it's a good way to do it. It's an interesting angle on it. But I don't have that. I wouldn't do it anyway because it's a big hassle. You would never want to do it more than once a week. Got to go set it up. But I haven't run into any bars that are looking to do that. Most of the ones I've gone to in the past get real paranoid. Like, why are you filming this? They think it might be some kind of either a scam or what you call entrapment or of some sort. So, and then the customers would be paranoid, like, what's the camera about? You know, they get really paranoid and it gets really tense, and then the video, it's not too, it's not a relaxing, you know, my videos are usually kind of laid back, relaxed, just hanging out, talking about the brand. So it changes the whole vibe, you know, when you do it at the bar. That's not a vibe I really like. Anyway, what's coming up? I'm going to do this taste challenge. What's coming up? Well, we're doing the round robin. I tried to explain that because people have asked, why you do this all the time? Like, you must have a drinking problem. You getting up early. Well, early is convenient. Secondly, I like to see the sun come out, you know, slowly come out as I do it. So it's kind of an aesthetic thing. For me, you might think it's silly. And I do the round robin tournament. One brand goes up against all the others in its class. So the rich and rares got to go up against everything else. Now, when in a month or two, when I break out the Rich and Rare Reserve, yes, there's a higher quality Rich and Rare. It's called Rich and Rare Reserve, which has no listing on Sazerac.com, oddly. But yet there's a Rich and Rare Reserve Facebook page, and they constantly, every day or two, changing it with their promotionals. Really nice photos, you know, Rich and Rare. I don't know what they're saying. You know, the weekend is here, you know, step up to the world of Rich and Rare Reserve. It's so incredible. All right, so I'm trying to even these out. I'm not cheating. All right, so but I have, after this, I'm going to do the Canadian Limited, which has a unique flavor. Some like it. Like, I think it's okay. John Anile wasn't too pleased with it. He said it tastes like you put almond extract in it, you know, like McCormick's almond extract. He said that didn't appeal to me too much. I can understand that attitude. And then we got Black Velvet, which is more of a standard American style. You know what I mean? Like wood, whiskey, base whiskey, you know, the ethyl alcohol. And then I've got Canadian Club, which also obviously has flavoring because of that strange honeycomb cereal thing. And then the Canadian Club 12 year, which I don't think, well, it might have flavoring, but you can't detect it so easily. It's masked by the heavy wood, charred wood, which makes sense since it's aged 12 years. The youngest whiskey in that blend is 12 years old. The youngest, could be older. So that'll close that out. Then I've got to find time in the next week, today perhaps, to do an independent solo review of JW Dance. They make bourbon. There's a JW Dance bourbon, but there's also JW Dance Scotch, blended Scotch whiskey. You say, oh, let me guess, it must be made by Sazerac, since it's some oddball thing I never heard of. You got it. You know, Sazerac is like the Pabst Brewing Company of the liquor world. They go around buying up all these obscure, historic legacy brands that have been forgotten about and have lingered on some kind of way over the years. And they just sell them. And they don't really promote them much. A few of the brands they do, like obviously, you know, Southern Comfort gets a lot of promotion, but most of it doesn't get any. Taka Vodka gets a lot of promotion. Okay. Rich and Rare is the 19th best-selling whiskey in the United States, if you can believe that. You say number 19? It's in the top 20? Yeah. They're like the South Florida, University of South Florida Bulls of the liquor world. They're like always competitive, but they're never going to be in the top 10. You know what I'm talking about, or it's unlikely. Say, what about Central Florida? What about them? Well, I would have. Well, that's a different story. You see, Central Florida is more like the modern Boise State, except Boise State is still like Boise State. beating all the people they shouldn't beat and dominating and being a smaller school that people don't give respect to but are terrified to play. Okay, this one's darker and this one's lighter, so this has got to be Canadian Crest. I almost said club, and this is the rich and rare. Yeah, obviously. So I just checked. That's obvious. So let's mix them up, and I got to be careful not to look because that'll be a dead giveaway. You see. Now, from my memory, the rich and rare had a strange pungency, strange, strong, nose-filling pungency. It was almost like you were smelling strong dough, yeasty, bready dough that was perhaps half-baked. And then, like John and Neely saying, that strange almond kind of weird thing. And these other flavors could be rum and sugar, cane sugar or molasses. And then, you know, molasses. And then the Canadian Crest, if I remember, it was just more like standard, stereotypical flavor and aroma generally associated with whiskey with some milder flavors. So remember, one is coming from Louisville, King Louis the 13thville. Oh, I'm sorry. What am I saying? King Louis the 14thville. Or was it the 15th at that time? Sure wasn't the 16th, I don't believe. Couldn't have been him. And Frankfurt. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Taste challenge has begun. It's a thinner aroma, does have some flavoring in wood, and it smells like Canadian Crest. Okay. It's a stronger, pungent, bready, yeasty thing that I just talked about, and it smells like Canadian, rich and rare. Now, you know, I saw a Canadian whiskey over there on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain in a town called Madisonville, which is sort of a maritime community because there's a river that runs through the middle of the town. What is that? The Chafunkta River. And then there's a bunch of boat areas, piers and marinas and seafood restaurants. It's on the mouth of Lake, or close to the mouth, close to the shore of Lake Pontchartrain. And I had to stop at the river because the bridge was up. And I said, I'm not waiting. I went into this convenience store, and I was fascinated. It looked like some little convenience store, and they had this huge wine section. I said, boy, you never know. But it's kind of a well-heeled, in a way, community. Is like a lot of poor people, I guess, because of just their history of poverty or something. But then there's this other well-heeled, maybe New Money or something up there, and they have these huge mansions, you know. And then you have this small little clapboard 2-bedroom houses along the river. I guess people work there. I don't know what they were doing, digging clams or something. Yes, they have clams here. Oystermen, fishing. But they had a Canadian whiskey called James Fox, F-O-X-E, James Fox. And I said, woo, never heard of this one. But it was only the big plastic jug bottles. So I said, man, I'd rather get a glass single, you know, standard size. And I did some research, and yep, sure enough, Sazerac. And apparently it came out in 1976, and there was a big discussion about it in the New York Times. You say the New York Times did an article about James Fox whiskey? Yeah. But it wasn't Sazerac back then. It was some other company that was trying to make a big push for budget-priced Canadian blended whiskey, and then it didn't really catch on. So later on, Sazerac came swooping it up. But look it up, James Fox. You see that there's this old archived article from the New York Times. True story. Oh, man. I'm telling you, on the aroma, I got to start cleaning the house in a minute. Oh, there's that daybreak. And the aroma is making me think this has got to be rich and rare, and this has got to be the Canadian Crest. You get the grain alcohol here. The whiskey standard, and I mean standard whiskey aroma, but it's thinner. Thinner in the nose. This one's fuller in the nose, or more full. Oh, well, we're only talking about $1.50 difference in bottle price. So, but you say, yeah, but if they're so similar, a penny might make a difference. This is true, right? Why pay even a penny more if they're like virtually identical in quality? That would be a good point. I would believe that. I would actually ascribe to that. It's like Keystone Ice and natural ice. I'm going to get Keystone because it's cheaper at this time. And probably a little better, in fact, really, when you get down to it. And that might be due to that fact that it's an ale, not a lager. I doubt that makes a difference, but it does give it some strange character that you don't get in lagers. It's somewhat bizarre product. I saw an old commercial in Retrovision Thrifts. He does a lot of videos, old TV commercials. He does beer reviews, and he comments on my channel sometimes. And he did an old Keystone Light commercial from 1992. And I said, oh, yeah, the Keystone Dry. I remember Keystone Dry and Bud Dry. Okay, so let's go with the taste, because I think I'm going to get this one right. You can definitely pick up the wood, so there's no doubting that. You say it's probably used wood barrels. Well, yeah, it's probably used Sazerac brand bourbon barrels, more than likely. Benchmark, McAfee's Benchmark, Old Number 8, or Buffalo Trace. Probably not their expensive barrels, but, you know, like $20 or less. Or Ancient Age would be a good guess, you know. Ancient Age barrels, Barton, the standard Barton, you know, 4-year age. Not the Barton 1792. Those are a little richer, probably selling it off to more premier Scotch companies. I'm just guessing. I don't know. I have no way of knowing, but it just seems plausible. There's that strange honeycomb that you get with the Canadian Club, yes. And then there's some underlying or even mid-taste, plum wine and white grape skin. You know, that greenish white grapes. I'm telling you, it's a strange thing. And they can use wine and Canadian whiskey as a blending agent for a taste, you know, a flavoring agent, really. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm ready to guess because I think it's just too clear. Now, are they actually good, though? You say, are they good at that's just bum juice, bottom shelf, trash, garbage, filth, slop. Just horribleness. I wouldn't drink that at the Four Winds bar with Susie. Well, you wouldn't see it at the Four Winds bar. You might see Rich and Rare as a well whiskey down there, and they use it for mixing and something. Susie dear isn't going to want this stuff, but it's okay for your house, you know, at home. So I'm ready to guess, ladies, fish, and gentlemen. I'm ready to guess, ladies, fish, and gentlemen. This is the nexus of the crisis. So here we go. The curse of the hidden mirror has arrived. Grandfather, it's a hidden mirror. So here we go. Hey, hey, did I say this was Canadian Club? I mean Canadian Club, Canadian Crest, and it's rich and rare. Well, blow me down, as Popeye would say. Maybe if I'd have eaten some canned spinach before doing this instead of eating 2 medium eggs fried with sliced yellow onions and sliced jalapeno and extra sharp cheddar cheese melted on top with 2 slices of turkey spam fried in extra virgin olive oil, maybe I would have done better. But no, I didn't eat the canned spinach. Oh yeah, and topped with black pepper and Trappy's original Louisiana hot sauce made in New Jersey. Louisiana hot sauce made in New Jersey. Okay, well, oh my. Okay, I want to swim like a fish. What can you say? What can you say? A mirror is a negative space with a frame. Pretty girls can't look away. Oh, well, I got it wrong. What can I say? I got it wrong. Now you say, well, you got a lot of thinking to do now. You got to go off and turn this off and think about things. You got a lot to work out now. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. But something tells me that you say, nah, here comes the excuses. You failed, so here comes the excuses. Something tells me that there's not a whole lot of people on this planet that are worried about which is which, rich and rare and Canadian Crest. There's just not a whole lot of people that are compelled to tell a difference in a blind taste test. This is true, but it doesn't. That's you know, irrelevant. I screwed up. I got it wrong. I mean, you know, I never did say which one was better because they both tasted fine. This one smells hot. You said that's your body heat because you're sweating because you don't know what to do. Okay, I'll accept that. Heck, I thought I had it, man. Oh, imagine us. Imagine us. Okay. Hey, well, that's it. I mean, there's no use sitting here all in shock, you know. You watching this video, I'm in shock. You say, oh, you shook up, huh? A little bit, like just a person. I'm shook up like a dude who's shook up. All right, well, we got to carry on. Got to carry on. We got to just keep fighting. We got to fight. The struggle must continue. This whiskey struggle. So now I'm even more afraid. So very afraid. Oh, so very afraid. Friend, all we want is to be left alone. If you leave us alone. All right. So betrayed. So terribly betrayed. I'll just do Canadian Limited in 2 days. And with no confidence. After this, after a thing like this, you got no confidence, I swear. Some people are saying, oh, wow, Canadian Limited. Now we're cooking with gas. We're really setting the world on fire with that stuff. I'm not saying we're setting the world on fire. We're not trying to make any kind of great impression on the whiskey drinking community. And in fact, if I do things like Rich and Rare versus Canadian Limited, I will probably be rejected by the whiskey drinking community with great animosity, with extreme prejudice. And I can kind of understand that, because they're saying, you know, we're over here struggling to evaluate, you know, Four Roses special edition 10-year age, and here you are doing Canadian Limited and Rich and Rare. What the hell, you know, like, why? You're a stain on the whiskey. I don't care. I don't care about that. I just like to do the taste challenges. Working man's whiskey does the cheap ones. Working man's whiskey does the cheap ones. Okay. And I intend to climb the ladder. Slowly climb the ladder. No. You might say, well, hell, you might be on rung number 2, the second rung, barely 1 foot on the second rung, and it's been 2 years. Yeah, so look, in 25 years, I'll be up to the middle shelf now. Hey, you just wait. 25 years, you might see me up here doing Jim Beam bottled and bond. Hey, you say, oh Lord, it gets worse. Okay, now anyway, so enough of that. It's over. I failed. It's the end. There's no use talking about it. You know I'm gonna be, God willing, you know, I'm gonna be back in 2 days to do Canadian Limited versus Rich and Rare, and we just see how it works out. We just see what happens. So it'd be like Cities on Flame with rock and roll. Cities on flame now with rock and roll. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. Lordy, Lordy. Hurry, hurry, hurry.